Amidst the chaos of a bustling market, a neglected German shepherd catches the eye of a 5-year-old girl. The dog is clearly unloved, and she begs her mother to let her rescue him. What the dog does next is incredible. One sunny Saturday, 5-year-old Emma wandered through the local market with her parents when her eyes caught sight of a massive German shepherd chained to a post near a corner stall. Her mother, Genevieve, followed Emma's gaze and saw the dog's poor condition. She sighed, knowing how sensitive her daughter was to animals in distress. "All right, sweetie, let's go see him, but stay close," she said. As they approached, Emma knelt down a few feet away. "Hey there, boy," she said softly, extending her hand. The dog sniffed the air cautiously, its ears perking up slightly. Emma inched closer. "You look so sad." "Don't worry, I'm here." Genevieve watched her daughter closely. Emma had always had a special way with animals, but this dog looked particularly rough. "Emma, be careful. He might be scared," she warned. The little girl nodded, but remained focused on the dog. She noticed a nearby vendor who seemed to be the owner. The man was busy attending to customers and paid little attention to the dog. Emma stood up and approached him. "Excuse me, sir, is this your dog?" The vendor glanced at her briefly, then nodded, saying the dog was no good, that nobody wanted him, and he was just taking up space. Emma's heart sank. "Can I pet him?" she asked. The man shrugged. Emma returned to the dog and gently reached out to pet him. To her surprise, the dog didn't pull away. Instead, he leaned into her touch, his tail giving a faint wag. Emma smiled, knowing a connection was forming. Over the next few weeks, Emma and her parents visited the market regularly. Each time she spent time with the dog, whom she named Zeus. With each visit, their bond grew stronger. Zeus seemed to recognize Emma, and his eyes lit up whenever he saw her. Her parents noticed the growing attachment and began discussing the possibility of bringing the dog home. They knew it wouldn't be easy. Zeus needed medical attention and a lot of care. But they couldn't ignore Emma's unwavering determination to help him. Finally, after much discussion, they approached the vendor with an offer to take Zeus home. The man seemed eager to be rid of what he called the useless dog and agreed readily. Emma's heart soared as she gently unchained Zeus and led him to their car. "You're coming home with us," she whispered. As they drove home, Emma sat beside the dog, who rested his head on her lap. Emma had rescued an unloved dog from the market, but little did she know Zeus would soon show just how extraordinary their bond could be. Bringing the dog home was just the beginning of a brand new journey for Emma and her family. While the initial joy of rescuing Zeus filled their hearts, they soon realized the challenges that lay ahead. Zeus, with his matted fur and visible ribs, had endured a tough life, and it showed in his behavior. At first, he was skittish and wary of his new surroundings. He flinched at sudden movements and loud noises and cowered when adults tried to pet him. Emma spent every possible moment with him, sitting by his side, reading books, or simply talking to him about her day. Her tiny size seemed to put him at ease. Slowly, Zeus began to show signs of trust. He leaned into her hand when she petted him and started following her around the house. But his behavior was still unpredictable, so the family decided to seek professional help. They contacted a local animal behaviorist, Dr. Lewis Taylor, who had experience with traumatized dogs. "This dog has been through a lot," Dr. Taylor explained. "His unpredictable behavior is a result of his past trauma. He needs structure, patience, and consistent training to help him feel secure." She provided them with a training plan that emphasized positive reinforcement and gradual exposure to new experiences. The training was slow and required a lot of patience. There were days when Zeus showed progress, and responded well to commands. He even sometimes played fetch with Emma. But there were also setbacks. Zeus would sometimes growl or snap if he felt cornered or threatened, though he was never aggressive towards Emma. One day, while playing in the yard, Zeus approached Emma with a ball in his mouth, his tail wagging like a propeller. It was the first time he had initiated play, and Emma's heart soared with joy. She threw the ball, and Zeus chased after it, barking happily. Genevieve and John watched from the porch, their hearts swelling with pride. The journey to rehabilitate their dog was far from over, but their unwavering commitment was starting to pay off. As weeks became months, Zeus's behavior showed steady improvement. Emma's patience and unwavering love began to heal the wounds of his past. One sunny afternoon, she was playing in the yard, and Zeus bounded happily after a ball. Genevieve and John sipped iced tea on the porch, feeling content as they realized how far Zeus had come. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the peaceful afternoon. The neighbor's cat had been startled by a car backfiring and darted across the yard, sending Zeus into a frenzy. He took off after the cat, barking wildly. Emma tried to stop Zeus, running after him, her small legs struggling to keep up. In the chaos, she didn't notice the approaching car speeding down the street. Genevieve and John's hearts leaped into their throats as they saw Emma chasing Zeus. They shouted, but their voices were drowned out by the car's roar and the dog's barking. In that instant, Zeus's protective instincts kicked in. He sensed the danger before Emma did. As the car drew dangerously close, he turned on a dime and sprinted back toward the girl. With a powerful leap, he knocked her out of the car's path. The car screeched to a halt, the driver's face pale with shock. Genevieve and John rushed to Emma's side. She was dazed but unharmed, clinging to Zeus, who stood protectively over her. He nuzzled her gently, licking her face as if to reassure her that she was safe. From that day on, Zeus's place in the family was solidified. His courageous act changed the way Genevieve and John saw him. He was no longer just a rescue dog with a troubled past. He was a loyal protector and a beloved member of their family who would go to great lengths to keep them safe. One day during a walk, Zeus suddenly froze and began to growl. Emma looked up and saw a man approaching. It was the same vendor from the market who had kept Zeus chained and neglected. The man's eyes narrowed as he recognized the dog. "So that's where you ended up," he sneered. Emma tightened her grip on Zeus's leash. She could sense his tension and knew she needed to stay calm. "Zeus is my dog now," she said firmly. "You can't take him back." The man scoffed, saying that Zeus was his dog first and that she had no right to take him. Emma stood her ground. "You didn't take care of him. He deserved better." The man took a step closer, and Zeus growled more fiercely, positioning himself protectively in front of Emma. The man threatened to call the authorities, accusing her of stealing his dog. Emma's mind raced. She knew the man had no claim to Zeus, but the confrontation was unnerving. "Go ahead," she replied. "We have proof of how you treated him. You won't get him back." The man glared at her, then turned and walked away, muttering under his breath. Emma let out a shaky breath and knelt beside Zeus, hugging him tightly. "It's okay. He won't hurt you ever again." The incident shook Emma, but it also strengthened her resolve. She knew she had to be vigilant and protect Zeus from anyone who might try to take him away. She discussed the encounter with her parents, who reassured her that they would support her and keep Zeus safe. One sunny Saturday, the local community organized a pet fair and dog show. Emma's family decided to participate. It was an opportunity to showcase Zeus' progress and enjoy a day out together. The fair was bustling with activity when they arrived. Booths lined the park, offering pet supplies, treats, and information about animal care. The air was filled with excited barks and laughter as dogs of all shapes and sizes mingled with their owners. Emma was thrilled to be part of the event and eager to see how Zeus would perform in a new environment. As they walked through the fair, they passed a booth advertising a tracking and agility demonstration. Emma's eyes lit up. "Can we try this, Molly?" she asked, looking up at her mother with hopeful eyes. Genevieve smiled and nodded. They approached the booth, where a friendly instructor greeted them and asked if they wanted to see if their dog had any hidden talents. Emma nodded enthusiastically. The instructor guided them to the agility course, which was set up with tunnels, jumps, and weaving poles. "Let's start with some basic agility exercises and see how Zeus does," he suggested. Emma led her dog to the starting line, her heart pounding with excitement. She had never tried agility with Zeus before, but she had a feeling he might surprise everyone. She whispered in his ear, asking if he was ready. Zeus's ears perked up, and he wagged his tail eagerly. As soon as Emma gave the signal, Zeus took off. He navigated the course with surprising agility. Zeus soared over the jumps, weaved through the poles, and raced through the tunnels with a speed and precision that left everyone in awe. The crowd watched in amazement as he completed the course in record time. Emma beamed with pride. She had always known her dog was special, but seeing him excel in the agility course was beyond her wildest dreams. The news of Zeus's hidden talent spread quickly through the fair. People who had once viewed him as just a rescue dog now saw him as a star. Emma's family received numerous offers from trainers and agility clubs, all eager to help Zeus reach his full potential. The discovery of his talent opened up new possibilities for Emma and her beloved dog. They began training with a local agility club, where Zeus' progress was astounding. He quickly became a favorite among the trainers. However, the excitement surrounding Zeus's newfound agility talent was soon overshadowed by a troubling development. The previous owner, emboldened by seeing Zeus's success, began to escalate his threats. He started showing up at the park during their training sessions, shouting that Zeus belonged to him and that he would take him back by any means necessary. Emma's parents grew increasingly concerned for their daughter's safety and Zeus's well-being. They decided it was time to take legal action to secure the dog's place in their family permanently. They contacted a lawyer who specialized in animal rights cases. During their initial consultation, the lawyer, Miss Patterson, listened carefully to their story. "You have a strong case," she said. "The key will be to gather as much evidence as possible of Zeus' previous abuse and show that he is thriving under your care." Genevieve and John began collecting everything they could to support their case. They took detailed photographs of Zeus' condition when they first rescued him, including his matted fur, protruding ribs, and sad eyes. They also gathered vet records showing his health improvements and testimonials from neighbors, friends, and trainers who had witnessed Zeus's transformation. Emma was determined to help as well. She wrote a heartfelt letter describing her bond with Zeus and the positive changes she had seen in him. "Zeus is my best friend," she wrote. "He saved my life, and I love him. Please don't let anyone take him away." The legal process was daunting, and the court case was looming. To add to their stress, the local agility competition was fast approaching. It was an important event where Zeus could showcase his talent and further demonstrate how well he had adjusted to his new life. Despite the tension, Emma and Zeus continued their training. Emma's heart pounded every time she saw the previous owner lurking nearby, but she drew strength from her love for Zeus and her determination to keep him safe. On the day of the competition, the air was electric. Dozens of dogs and their owners gathered, ready to compete in various events. As they waited for their turn, Emma noticed the previous owner standing on the sidelines, glaring at them. She took a deep breath and focused on Zeus. "We can do this," she whispered, "just like we practiced." When the announcer called their names, Emma and Zeus stepped onto the course. The crowd fell silent as they watched. Emma gave the signal, and Zeus took off. He soared over the jumps, weaved through the poles, and raced through the tunnels with a grace that took everyone's breath away. As they crossed the finish line, the crowd erupted in applause. Emma beamed with pride, and Zeus wagged his tail excitedly. The competition's judges were impressed. One of them, a renowned dog trainer, said, "You and Zeus are an incredible team. He's a remarkable dog, and you've done a fantastic job with him." Then the day of the heaping arrived. Emma clutched Zeus's leash tightly. The previous owner was there, scowling and muttering under his breath. Miss Patterson presented their case with confidence, highlighting Zeus' progress and the loving care he had received from Emma's family. The judge listened attentively, reviewing the photographs, vet records, and testimonials. Emma's letter was read aloud, bringing tears to many in the courtroom. Finally, the judge turned to the previous owner. "The evidence clearly shows that Zeus was neglected and abused under your care. He has thrived with his new family, and it is in his best interest to remain with them." The previous owner protested, but the judge was firm. "Your actions have shown that you are not fit to care for this dog." The court ruled in favor of Emma's family. Zeus would stay with them permanently. The court ruling was a significant victory for Emma and her family, but the story didn't end there. Following the hearing, the judge ordered an investigation into Zeus' previous owner. What emerged from this investigation shocked everyone and solidified the community's support for Emma and Zeus. It was revealed that the man had a history of animal maltreatment. Several other animals had suffered under his care. Witnesses came forward with testimonies about his cruel behavior, and the local news picked up the story. It spread quickly and caused outrage. The revelations about Zeus' past galvanized the community. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers rallied around Emma's family, promising that they would make sure Zeus's former owner would never have an opportunity to treat an animal badly again. Emma and Zeus' story left a legacy of love and compassion that would inspire future generations in the town. No one could be happier with the outcome.